Grace and peace, everybody. We back up in the building. Did he do a costume change? Did he go change the hoodie? Yes, he did. Yes, I did. Shout out to everybody. Grace and peace, everyone. We're back. We're going to have a good one today. It looks like your girl is going to be going live in about 12 minutes, give or take. And she's going to be talking about Mom Donnie. She's going to be talking about Brett Cooper. She's going to be talking about Turning Point USA that she's not at war with. And I think it's going to be interesting because I want to hear what she has to say about Mom Donnie as it relates to New York. That's going to be crazy because she ain't been saying anything about it. That's the point that I'm like, you ain't been saying anything, so why are you saying something now? So we're going to see. Matter of fact, even yesterday, she even said, like, don't vote if people are not going to tell us about what's going on with Charlie Kirk or something to that effect. Like, really? That's kind of crazy work. But nonetheless, we back for sure, everybody. Thank you so much for jumping into the best live chat on the internet. I see some great numbers showing up. Hit that like button and let me know what like number you are. Thank you so much for tapping in. Making sure all my links are popping up. Erica Kirk is being interviewed tonight. Yes, at 8 o'clock, I have that stream ready. We'll do a watch party for sure. We're going to talk about that for sure. We will be watching it together. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And when this stream is over with, I'll probably end it, feed the kiddo, and then make sure that we're ready to go. So I already have the stream ready and planned. So we'll be able to hop in. Maybe I'll even start it early so we can chat and chop it up a little bit earlier. So let's go. Let's get at it, people. Good to see y'all. Let's do a real quick audio check and make sure that we have some good audio today. I know yesterday we had a couple of audio hiccups. We don't like that stuff. We don't like those hiccups, Jason. We're not pro hiccups on the audio. All right, let me find a quick. Oh, here we go. We'll do tap in with our guy. Okay, hold on one second. All right, here we go. Let's pull this in. Checking the audio. Y'all go ahead and give me some green hearts in the chat when y'all can hear.
Why she cutting it like that?
Like the audio froze.
Why she cutting it like that? So she not gonna cook no fresh seafood. No, don't put the noodles in there.
Do people really cook like this?
What's wrong with cooking the noodles in the pot on the stove? Ma'am, stop pouring it from jar to jar. Wait, did she fill those jars up with something? She did, and she poured that Alfredo water on there.
Why are you doing that?
Oh, my stomach is bubbling. She ain't put no seasoning on that. Ain't gonna do nothing but taste like cheese and water. And now she's stirring it. Watch this. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on Sarah's seafood soup.
What, do people really cook like that on purpose? Why do people do that? Why do people do that? Oh, I hate that. I really do hate that. It just seems like it's just wasting food because you're not going to eat that. There's no way you're going to convince me that you're making that to be consumed by humans. There's just no way. Here, let's look at one that's a little bit better. Hey, I like this guy. This guy is fun.
All right, y'all. We're about to make some blackened alligator and crawfish cheesy pasta.
Oh, man, okay, that sounds good.
The baby, 1 stick of butter now.
Oh, wait a minute.
1 pound of cubed up alligator. My Cajun seasoning, baby. And my blackened seasoning.
Just by the accent, I could tell he know what he doing.
All right, y'all, the alligator's fully cooked. Go up on it with your pound of crawfish. And my blackened seasoning.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Season your food.
1 zested lemon. That much garlic. Go up on that 2 pounds of that cooked pasta. 32 ounces heavy whipping cream.
This all right here. I ain't never seen nobody cook no pasta on no flat top.
6 ounces Parmesan cheese. A bag of that mild cheddar, baby.
Oh, okay, I think that's enough cheese now.
Now go up on it with that crawfish and alligator. 1 stick that garlic and herb butter.
Why he keep slamming that butter?
1 cup fresh parsley.
I like that
Put it
guy.
on, combine everything, y'all, on a low heat. All right, y'all, check it out.
You know what? Fix me a plate of that, even though it is a little cheesy, baby.
Oh, I like him. Oh yeah, Cajun. Hey, I like that. I like my guy. I like him for sure. Okay, we're gonna watch one more. Okay, look, we're gonna watch one more. We got to get ourselves ready because we know that your girl gonna be talking all kinds of crazy. So we got to get ourselves ready. Let's do the Bang Bang King Crab. Let's go.
Crab from Sam's. They're on sale, by the way.
What they say, bang, bang, king crab? What that mean? I don't know, but I'm trying to find out.
Listen, I was tussling to get these thick shells cracked open. I cleaned them after. My seasoned flour is
Oh, seasoned flour. What you got going on? Watch out there now. Wait. You mean to tell me you about to...
Old Bay, pepper, onion, and garlic powder. I put my crab legs in an egg mixture, toss them in my flour, deep fry them around 4 to 5 minutes.
We frying the crab meat? Oh, Heavenly Father, I beg your deep fried pardon.
And they should look somewhat like this. These are the items I use for my Bang Bang sauce.
Oh, okay, so that's the bang bang is sauce.
It turned out like this.
Okay.
Then I toss my crab legs
Oh.
in the sauce, and bam, you have these Bang Bang King crab legs.
Oh, sweet Mr. Krabs, Jesus. Oh, I want to bang bang. It do look good, but come on now. Now you know I can't contain myself after seeing that. Because it looked delish. I might just eat about 6 in the falsetto. Ooh, ooh, bang bang, ooh. Ma'am, please give me 6 of them right now. Now, where is my... Get my plate. Ma'am, if he getting 6, I want 12 because I'm trying to bang bang till I can't bang bang no more. Lord have mercy.
Crab from Sam's. They're
Shout
on
out
sale.
to my boy Christian Johnson, and hey, I love his comedy. I think that's hilarious. Shout out to him. Yeah, shout out to the Bang Bang, the Bang Bang crab legs. I've never heard of that before. And you know what? I gotta get my bingo board ready. Hold on, y'all. Let me get my bingo board ready. Oh, I got it. Okay, here we go. I'm on top of my game today. Shout out to editor Jason, got his game going. Albeit this is a small screen out today. What's going on here? All right, so we got bingo today. Oh, I know I'm gonna get it today. I got Eric. I got vibes. I'm sorry, I got Eric. I got Charlie. I got vibes. I'm just asking questions. Betrayal, weird, my gut. Some kind of patchwork theories going on. Let me get this a bigger screen, Jason. Patchwork theory. She gonna dox somebody. The Jewish donors catching strays up in here. Tip line shout out. We got that free space. We got leaks going on. Then there's some random texts. I just sense. We got random person. We got FBI, Christian Zionism. We got I know, but I don't know, but I know to the no. Okay. Our username is a short one. Okay. And then we got Trump going on. I have proof, but trust me, bro. Planes. I don't know, man. I don't know about that one. That one might impede me getting blackout bingo for there. And then of course Kanye West. I don't know why, but like I said, every one of my bingo boards has Kanye West on it. I have no idea why that is. If you would like to play bingo, the link to it is down in the description of this video. Go ahead, grab your bingo board, and we're going to have some fun. We got to make fun of this, because if we don't make fun of it, y'all, we would cry. So we don't want to cry. We don't want to cry. We want to have a good time. So that's what we're going to be doing. Shout out to everybody who's jumped into the best electrifying chat. Let me see. Somebody said that, wait. Can you change how our username is in this short one? I don't know how to do that. And I'm sorry about that. If there's some problem with the username, then I won't put people's names up. You mean my name or our names? Everybody's name. Because my name is right here. So, okay. Either way, I don't know how to change our names. I can change mine. I have an option to change it here on the in the studio, but I apologize if there's something I'm missing. Shoot me an email. All right, everybody, we are going to, let me make sure I got this one queued up, ready to go, because she's going to talk. She said she's going to be talking about Mom Donnie. She said she's going to be talking about what's going on with Mom Donnie. She's going to be talking about Brett. She's going to be talking about all that stuff. What do you think is going on over here? Everyone I disagree with is Hitler. Interesting. That's such an interesting take. That is so interesting. I wonder how that's going to go. So that means that more than likely, if she's bringing up Brett Cooper, then that means she's going to bring in that whole diatribe that Brett did yesterday about it. And it is interesting, whenever somebody tacitly or indirectly supports Candace, she will trip over herself to give them some kind of shade, some kind of credit. She is not going to let that opportunity slide. You giving me shout outs, and we got to look, you got to be of God. And so she's going to give you some kind of shine because you dared to give her shine. You've dared to acknowledge that you agree with her or some way or another that she's right. Oh my goodness. So this is going to be wild. We're going to see what happens. All right, let's see. Ted Cruz, that's who it was. Thank you so much. I forgot exactly who his name was. I'm like, wait, somebody. Ted Cruz, that's who it is. Brett was, summation real quick, Brett was saying that everybody who's calling out Nick Fuentes as a Yahtzee is wrong. And she brought up a tweet where Ted Cruz some time ago said, if they don't like you, they call you a Yahtzee so that they can justify unaliving you. But then when Tucker Carlson had Nick Fuentes on his show, he said something about the little Yahtzee is upset or the little Yahtzee is mad or something like that. As if Nick Fuentes has not identified himself as a Yahtzee, as a supporter of the failed art student of Germany. And so basically, Brett Cooper was saying that we're out of pocket for calling Nick Fuentes a Yahtzee, even though he calls himself that. He literally does. So that's a quick summation. I missed a lot of high points, but I hope I got enough to at least give you an idea. Yeah, she's conflating two different things. And I think it's on brand for Brett. I think she's made some mistakes before. I think we just talked about her last week with the whole thing with Matt Walsh. And it's starting to show that maybe Daily Wire needs to do a better job of vetting their employees, because when their employees leave, they really show themselves out. So maybe y'all need to do a better job of vetting them on the top end. Yeah, he said that he liked this guy. I mean, there's long montages of him. As a matter of fact, Ben Shapiro went on a long montage about that yesterday, and it's pretty wild. She's misinformed and she's young. Those are all true statements. I agree with those. The problem is those are not justifications for making bad takes. And let me just make sure I don't miss. Got it ready, queued up, ready to go. Yeah, it doesn't change anything though. Sure, you're young, and but you're still making points that need to be adjusted with. And even we can't just say, well, you're young. We gotta let you slide on saying something reckless like that. I think is basically what most people are saying. And I feel comfortable that that's what I'm saying as well. All right, your girl is coming on. Screen is getting hot. You know, she does that little like build up thing because her video needs a little bit of build up time. I'm just making sure that all my distributions are working. I'm over there on that old Facebook. Trying to get on that Twitter even. All right, let's bring it in. Let's go. All right, everybody, let's get this party popping and locking. We're locked in. Let's go. All right, bring it in, Jason. We know what's going to be, so let's get at it. Let's do it. Okay, we got our audio. Sounds good. Green hearts in the chat when it pops up. Let us go. I don't think Brett is a Catholic. I don't know that, though, so I can't say emphatically. But it does seem to be interesting, though. Why is that not popped up on Candace's radar? Just seems interesting to me. You think she's going to condemn it? Okay. But okay, notice also that she hasn't mentioned anything about it up to this point. Yesterday, I think, was one of the first times I've heard her mention Mondani. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it's somewhere else. But I don't think that she's mentioned them anywhere else, which just seems weird. All right, fire in the hole when you can hear.
All right, you guys. Happy Wednesday for some people in New York City. Mamdani won. Okay, that's kind of the big story. The Republican establishment have a lot of excuses regarding that win. The excuses are ranging from because there was too much infighting on the conservative side to this country has been taken over by jihadists. I mean, you name it, they have an excuse. I think the correct answer is because the establishment is just in complete denial, left and right. What is happening is a populist movement. And what is happening is that we are really sick of Zionism. We are really sick of lies. In that same vein, in case you missed it, Brett Cooper is apparently the new Hitler, which I'm just wondering, can we just get these on iPhone alerts, like Amber Alerts, just a general Hitler alert, so we can keep track of the newest person who said something totally sensible and is therefore now being accused of committing a Holocaust? It would just be easier that way for me as an iPhone user. Today, it is in fact Brett Cooper, so there's your update. And in Charlie Kirk news, nothing is making sense still. Least of all, the request and the confirmation window regarding the UVU event. I'm going to show you that. I brought the receipts today, as usual. So welcome back to Candace. I'll tell you guys, there are a lot of stages of grief. The one they don't tell you about is when you get beyond all the stages, you've accepted that this person is not coming back, and then you just want to punch people in the face for lying about everything. I'm there. Everything they are telling us is crazy town, okay? I wake up and I learn something new and I get angry. I'm so angry, I'm taking it out on the team. I'm like, no, this does not make any sense. I can't explain to you why it doesn't make sense because I went through Turning Point USA, but every little micro change is sending me in this moment. It's a very personal thing. I know how Turning Point operates their events, things that the world does not know. I have been privy to. And that's why I said, you know what, let's actually scour through my emails. I was like, Savannah, let's just go back so that we can share these things with the world, that you guys can join me in my frustration of wanting to punch somebody, anybody in the face, okay? So yesterday, we had mentioned to you that the timeline is absolutely absurd, okay? The absolute absurdity of Turning Point, as we learned, having received a request from Charlie, from UVU, for Charlie to speak on their campus in mid-July. Okay, just a few weeks before he dies. In mid-July, they get a request. Can Charlie speak on campus? And then they immediately approve that request and they schedule it as his first stop some 6 weeks later. That has never happened in the history of my having done campus tours, okay? This was a tour stop. And you literally get these requests.
Can somebody tell me when did Candace start working for Turning Point? When did she end working at Turning Point? Because again, she's couching it as if she still worked there last Tuesday. She just left, over the summer. Ma'am, you haven't been there for almost 7 years. Am I right? Or am I tripping? Like, at what point? Yeah, like, I don't, and even in that, Turning Point existed before then. So this whole, I built Turning Point, I'm a mason of it. No, ma'am, the foundation and the third floor had already been established by the time you got on board. Ma'am, stop lying. all of this is just malarkey. Just stop it. Stop, because you look silly.
months before you start sorting through them. I mean, I'm going to show you the real proof so you can grasp how atypical the setup is, okay? Charlie and I went on tour in April of 2024 together. We actually also split doing certain locations because they want to do as many locations.
Somebody show me her and Charlie on stage together in 24. I have not been able to find her and Charlie together in 2024. I see her on stage in 24, but I don't see her and Charlie together in 2024. That's a whole different game. That's like saying me and I'm here in Atlanta. So me and Jermaine Dupri were at the airport together. Well, yeah, he was flying first class on another airline, but yeah, we were still in the airport. Like that's crazy. Yeah, so I want to know, when was she on stage with him? That's the problem. That's the question.
All over the United States as possible. And April of 2024 is when our campus events began. I'm now going to show you an email of when we started planning that, okay? So keep in mind, the back of your mind, this request for UVU came in July and they approved it for September. For my April 2024 event, here is when we started planning. Here's an email, okay? You will note that this email came in October of 2023. They told me, here are these events. As briefly mentioned,
all right, if you're doing bingo, that would be a random. I'll give you a random text. I'll let that be a random text. Yeah, that's just going to be random. Who cares? Oh, Charlie's name was mentioned. All right, let's keep it going. This is, so what? You make it sound as if because they did something back then a certain way. And yes, this is spring of 24. And you're saying that was everything done like that ever? Like this is literally the only time it's ever been done? I don't think that's the case. And she's putting these children, these young men and women at UVU in harm's way.
Beginning stages of planning and requesting rooms for schools for next semester. Let me know. These are pending availability and approval. University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, which I think we ended up doing, University of Pittsburgh, which I think we did, and the University of Alabama. We are talking about end of March and early April events, okay, in October of 2023. I am telling you guys, when we go back and we look at the calendar and we see that request went out in mid-July, it drives me insane. It just screams at me.
Ma'am, no. Don't blame it on UVU's request that drove you insane. Ma'am, your sin and your wicked, evil, unrepentant, vengeful heart is driving you insane. Don't you blame it on UVU, ma'am. You're going to eat all of that cake. That's you. You're not going to beat these charges.
Okay. This was always a circumstance. This was not a special thing that happened. They would always say they would get requests in spring that they couldn't make happen, and then they would sort of roll them over and revisit those campuses, trying to hit all of the corridors of the United States the following semester, which would be in the fall. They would go backwards. You don't instantly get approved for an event at Turning Point USA. It reeks of an inside job. That is how I feel. The more that we learn about the story, the little changes that happen, the inexplicable things that we're learning, it becomes clearer and clearer that somehow at some layer, at some stage, Turning Point USA is involved because they're giving us no clarity. Why? Why did this get approval so quickly? The reason why.
You know why? And this is really because what she is a gossiper. She's a muckraker. She's going around getting pieces of information from all over the place, and they do sound confusing. She is correct. They do sound confusing because they're not meant for you. Ma'am, you're getting this information from ne'er-do-wells, people that may be just outright lying to you, that want to feel like they're important, that want to feel like they're supporting you. Ma'am, you're getting information that's not meant for you. We could give 1,000 examples. That's the reason that this stuff doesn't make sense, is because you're not a part of the conversation. And you're literally only just stirring the pot of confusion by throwing these out there. My name is Jason.
Why they have to plan these so far in advance is because Charlie travels like a madman, okay? He's not a person that has nothing on his calendar and can be like, yeah, sure, let's just do this event randomly. The second thing that was driving me crazy as well, which was completely atypical, is the fact that Charlie was slated to speak in Utah on September 10th and then was due to return just 10 days later to a different campus in Utah that's under 2 hours away. That's not how they plan events. Okay. The idea is if you're going to fly and you're already going to be in that corridor, try to do those campus events back to back.
If you roll this tape back and watch her try to say that, you can see her facial consternation because there's clearly something between those 10 days. If he was going to speak on the 10th and then come back and speak on the 20th, clearly those 10-day block in between there, it makes sense. She doesn't want you to think about that. And you can kind of see her face contorting because she knows what she's saying. If somebody asks some questions or somebody pushes back or maybe finds out, because again, ma'am, this is not information for you. And you getting the information and putting it out here on the interweb, ma'am, that doesn't mean that you are right. That means that you're just relaying information and adding confusion to it because you're not a part of it.
You'll do a sweep. We did UCLA, we did Berkeley, we did Stanford.
I love how
you do a sweep overnight, over 2 days. You don't fly to Utah and then go back home to Arizona and then fly to Utah 10 days later. Nothing is making sense, and we need to get to the bottom of why that is. It's looking to me, and you can let me know if you agree, it's looking to me like the apparent plan was to assassinate Charlie Kirk, who had at long last faltered on the pro-Israel cause. Okay, his words, not mine. And then to stage a hostile takeover of his brand and of his legacy by pretending that his best friends in the world were like Susie Wiles and co. Somehow she made it onto the stage to eulogize him at this very public event. It's so publicized, we can't even doubt. I mean, obviously, look who he's having speak. Your job around the world is to now support this administration and this administration's efforts because we've turned this event into an effective Trump rally. It looks that way to me. Then they were going to tell Americans as...
Wow, y'all. I've said it before. I do not pray that people get sued, but y'all, I'm praying that this woman gets sued out of existence. All right. So she brought in Trump. She mentioned Zionism, or she docked somebody, that Susie Wiles young lady, Charlie. She's saying betrayal, so I'm gonna take betrayal. I'm surprised Kanye's gonna get a shout out for sure. A random person. She did say Susie Wiles. You know what? I'm gonna take Susie Wiles right here. Even though I'm gonna take Susie Wiles right there. This is crazy work, y'all. This is bananas. Go ahead and finish up.
As Pastor Rob McCoy did, that it just so happened that Charlie Kirk kept notebooks and diaries. He was so diligent that he wrote down his succession plan featuring who he wanted to take over for the organization.
Why would that be
event
crazy?
Of his untimely death, like, he just, in the third notebook, he was like, oh, and if I accidentally get shot on campus, here's what you should do: call Erica, and then after you call Erica, come find this notebook. And in this notebook, you'll see that I am using adjectives like fantastic and heroic to describe Mikey McCoy. And if during this process,
this woman cannot be. This is so egregious. Y'all, I can't even take this. I got to clean the palate. Shout out to Lila Rose. Shout out. Thank you so much with the $13.99 super. The only TP USA event Candace was last a part of was June 14th, 2024. And that was the only event she attended in 24. I want to know where Charlie was. Can somebody help me? Also, thank you so much for that, Lila Rose. Can y'all tell me where Charlie was? Because that's where she make it sound like her and Charlie were holding hands, dancing through the tulips. Shout out. Thank you so much, Created by the Divine, with a very kind $20 super. If Candace Owens a racist, is she no longer a Republican? The lady is intolerable and ridiculous. This is a clown show, and she's getting paid to be a clown. I'm going to go on the limb, and I think most people probably agree. She was never a Republican. She was never a conservative. She was always cosplaying as a conservative. I stand on that one. I feel very comfortable that she was faking the funk. She saw that there was a gap of a black woman speaking conservatively and being clear. Let's just be honest. She cosplayed it very well, and I think that's what happened, in my opinion. Shout out. Thank you so much, Susie Q, with the $10. Her sources are the mommy sleuths. Yeah, and how did you vet them? How do we know that they know what they're talking about? Which is crazy work. Shout out. Why does anybody have to explain anything to her? Thank you, Ada Rojas. I don't know. with the $2 super. I have no clue why anybody has to answer to Candace. Why does she sit here with her whole chest on God's internet talking as if people owe her something? That's crazy work. And she's been doing this for 6 weeks and nobody said, hey, boo, nobody owes you anything. Lila Rose comes back with the $7 super. Candace did 5 events in 23 and they cut her way back in 24. So she did 5 events. Can send me those. Send me the events that she did in any events that she's done after she was let go from Turning Point. If you can find those, I would really like to see what events did she actually do. And that's what I want to know. And just to be, just to make sure I can understand the timeline, she's talking about timelines. So let's finish this up. Let's go.
Of our imagination, common sense comes on and we're like, but wait, Charlie, wasn't he like a boy genius? He's a pretty bright kid. Wouldn't he have maybe formalized that succession plan outside of like a diary? Maybe call one of his many lawyers, maybe formalize it in a will, because that's what you're supposed to do if you are thinking about dying and you need to make a plan. You make a will. I'm sure he had a will.
So is she saying that she knows what's in Charlie's will? That's crazy word. Candies. Hold on. Candies, all of y'all come on up here to the front of the church. Don't y'all sit back there in the back. We don't have any back pew candies. All the candies got to get up here close. Do y'all want me to believe that she knows what's in Charlie's will? Y'all stop playing. Stop playing. This woman is crazy. This woman is bonkers. Y'all candies, y'all got to accept that. This woman's crazy. Y'all following a crazy woman.
No, he wanted to put it in these notebooks. And then the plan was to guilt us, I think, to try to haunt us with the ghost of Charlie's notebooks that we're never going to be allowed to read, but we're supposed to accept that they most definitely read.
But you don't read somebody's will. What if he did write it in a notebook and put it in his will? Is that too far? Is that a reach? But do you expect us, baby, you're giving us information with no evidence either. You're telling us all kinds of crazy stuff, no evidence to the fact. So, but we're supposed to look down on Rob McCoy and because he said he had a notebook, which makes sense.
For sure. That's what it feels like.
Ooh,
Do you agree?
feels.
I think their thought process was it will be much easier for us to control the spirit of Charlie Kirk than the actual living, breathing Charlie Kirk. That's the vibe that I'm starting to get as I keep discovering all of these strange anomalies. And in the spirit of Charlie Kirk, in case you missed it, we're supposed to think that he would want us to be mad at Tucker Carlson and that he would want us to stop speaking about his murder and to instead unite and to get behind and support what feels like a hostile takeover of his company and his brand and to commit ourselves further to the Republican cause, right? To do everything that we can to make sure that, well, Mamdani, as just one example, does not become the mayor of New York. Well, guess what? It looks like we didn't do that. Looks like the plan maybe failed, despite the billionaire bucks that were flowing into the anti-Mamdani campaign. He won pretty handily against Andrew Cuomo, which like 5 minutes ago, the Republican Party was telling us he was unbelievably corrupt, that he should be in prison. And all of a sudden, it was our duty to get the word out, to get people to vote for Cuomo somehow again. Bill Ackman almost personally ran against Mamdani, right? At times, he even demanded to have a debate with Mamdani, which I don't understand the context of why Mamdani would be debating Bill Ackman if he's not running against him. Point is, Mamdani won. Okay, Bill gave $1.75 million, and Mamdani won, irrespective of the money that was donated against him. Michael Bloomberg also gave money to a Cuomo-affiliated super PAC. He gave $8.3 million to stop Mamdani, and it didn't matter. The Airbnb co-founder, Joseph Gebbia, gave $3.1 million. It didn't matter. The Tisch family gave $1.2 million. It didn't matter. Still, Mamdani won. Why? Okay, if we're being honest, he probably won during the first mayoral debate. Okay, just like if I reflect upon 2016, Trump kind of won in the first Republican debate because he was just kind of saying F you to the establishment, and it was pretty apparent. I want you to take a listen to this question. It's shocking, actually, if you've never seen this. This is a question that was asked to the New York City mayoral candidates about which foreign country they would visit first if they won. So to be clear, the question on its face makes entirely no sense.
I agree.
But this is how it was answered. Take a listen.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo.
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel, followed by my 5th trip to Ukraine, 2 of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
As a Jewish state?
Notice.
As a state with equal rights.
He won't, he
Not
won't
as a
say it
Jewish
has a
state.
right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very
And
clear
his
on
answer was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No. Unlike
No,
you, I
you
answer.
never-
Unlike
you
you, I
never
answer
said
questions
no.
very
Okay.
directly.
All right.
My goal would be to take my first trip to Israel. My wife's life work in this area means a lot to our family, and it could coincide with my young son Miles' bar mitzvah.
Just like, this is our country, you guys.
Okay, before Candace jumps in, I got to say, I'm saying this. The obsession with Israel is going to be is part of the problem. I disagree with everybody running, and I had to say Mamdani probably did sway a lot of people by saying I'm gonna stay here in New York. I mean, that's the focus. Like, if the New Yorkers elected you, why are you running somewhere else? I can kind of understand how that they set them up, but y'all keep falling for the trick bag, man. That's not a hard thing to do. I'm paid to work right here in New York. I'm gonna work in New York. Like, what are we doing? It does seem problematic that people keep making that an issue. And then you even heard how they expounded it out about nation state and all that kind of stuff like that. Man, this is silliness. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's kind of silly. And I think part of the reason why there was so many races that were lost yesterday is because Republicans have lost sight of the goal and objective of taking care of America. They have become very distracted and allowing this type of argumentation that Candace is doing to distract us from taking care of the people that live here in the United States. That's it. That's the problem. That's why I think the people lost. That's it.
Guys, that's it. You know what? I'm going to take my 19th trip to Israel. Oh, well, I'm going to take my first trip after my son's bar mitzvah. Oh, I was planning on stopping over on the way for our honeymoon. We were going to stop and just go to Israel and do whatever we could. It's ridiculous and it's obvious. And the way that the establishment comes down, if you don't peddle those talking points, he says something totally normal. Yeah, I'm going to stay here in New York. Why do I have to make a trip to Israel? And he says, I'd rather work with the Jewish New Yorkers that are here. That makes sense. Why are they all coming down on him? Why have all of our politicians, left and right, sold us out? Okay, Republican Party. I'll never forget during the presidential debates, they were all wearing, the majority of them, I think there was only Vivek Ramaswamy was not wearing the Israeli pin. I'm like, you're running for president of the United States. What are you doing wearing the Israeli flag as a pin on your jacket? No one can answer these questions. And they do the same thing. I love Israel more. No, I love Israel more. No, I love Israel more. Keep in mind, by the way, Mamdani won, and New York has the largest population of Jewish people of any city in the world next to Israel. So that says something. Okay. And he still won.
And you know what? I know somebody just said in here, hey, there's only 12% of the people voted. I wonder if this were a presidential year, would he have won? I don't know. This is what happens in off-year midterm elections. It does happen like this. My issue is stop allowing them to put you in the trick bag and talk about a country 9 time zones away. Worry about what's going on right here in your own place. I think that's part of the problem. What got us here is the fact that folks stop focusing on what is going on right here. The Muslim influence, Islamic infestation in in Minnesota, in what's going on in Michigan, what's happening in New York. That's got to be called out. But I do think it's interesting that Candace, as a Catholic, doesn't see any problem with that.
Now, did he get the majority of the Jewish vote in New York? No, but the exit polls are quite stunning. He got way too much of the Jewish vote in New York, I would say. And I'm going to bring in Mark in my ear to mansplain what we're seeing here on the exit polls. Mark, can you please mansplain?
Yeah, as you can see, it looks like despite not winning the Jewish vote, he got a huge proportion of it. 32% is pretty insane for allegedly how anti-Israel he is. And even deeper in here, you can see that Israel was a factor in a lot of these people's votes. This is according to a CNN exit poll of about 4,700 people coming out.
Because we've made it that, and I do think that's part of a problem. We keep making it one of these major issues, but he's going to sit there and run roughshod and give the thumb his nose at New Yorkers and worry about all of these other ancillary fringe groups. And it's going to be New Yorkers' fault because they allowed themselves to get put in a trick bag, worrying about a country 9 time zones away.
Really, it's an election for mayor of New York. I don't see what this has anything to do with that.
I'm with you, Mark, in her ear.
This is just something, and I think it also speaks to when Norm Finkelstein was on our show and he was explaining that even amongst the Jewish community, like the Israel question is now here and it's not going to go around. It's not going to go away. This is sticking around. But I guess the bigger, broader question is why didn't MAGA? Why didn't MAGA? Why didn't MAGA do the thing? We've infiltrated MAGA and we told them to do what we want and we wanted them to all make posts, anti-Mamdani posts. Just to be clear, even Donald Trump, President Trump, dedicated 900% more Truth Social posts to ensuring that Mamdani would lose than to ensuring that Charlie Kirk's murderer was found. 900% increase in messaging coming from him, since he didn't even send one message about investigating Charlie's murder. But the question is, why didn't MAGA listen even to Trump? Why didn't we all get on our platforms and say something? Because people like Dana Lash want to know, how are we going to win if you guys don't use your platforms and encourage people to vote? Well, the answer is pretty obvious. We don't recognize this MAGA because the fact that you're in it makes no sense. You were never Trump. If you're telling us that MAGA is now Josh Hammer, then MAGA is not.
I like that. Shout out. We need to clean the palate. Y'all, we got to take a commercial break. What does It's Nicole 17 say, can we have, I don't know, but I know because it's on her cup. I did not notice that. Shout out. You know what? I'm going to let you have that. Absolutely. Let me pull that in. Hold on. If you're playing, you know what? I'm going to let you have it. Absolutely. I like that. Well played. Well done. Well done. Shout out to this super right here. MT with the $10 super. Nothing to say about Mamdani saying we got into politics because of Palestine. Ryan Mata and multiple people on the right said they support him because his anti-Israel stance. We deserve what's coming. I mean, no lie right there, MT. Thank you, Lila Rose, for the $13.99 Blexic, March 13th. Live Free Spring Tour, Chicago, March 9th. Ohio State, March 22nd. Young Women's Leadership Summit, and there's no date. America Fest, December 23. Looks like I was wrong. May have been more than 6. And thank you so much, Lila Rose. I'm just wondering, again, I've seen people, when I call them hired guns, TPUSA mercenaries, they will tap people that are not affiliated with the organization. So I want to know, was she on stage with Charlie Kirk? That's my question. But I thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, MT, again, with the $9, basically $10 super. Says this. He said he would globalize the Intifada and started a Students for Justice in Palestine chapter and said he won't honor ICE warrants, but will honor ICC warrant for Netanyahu houseway. I don't know how we got here, y'all. This is absolutely insane. Thank you so very much for that. And by the way, thank you, Tina, with the $5. Charlie Kirk and Candace Owen together in 24. Okay. Thank you. Send me the link and I'll make sure I'll check it out. I appreciate it. So they were together in 24 on the same stage. Okay. Shout out. We got to give them credit if she's on the stage with them. All right. Let's bring her back in. Look at her face, y'all. How do we do that, Jason?
Is not MAGA, okay? MAGA needs a new leader. And it's pretty obvious that you guys recognize that we've never been with you. We've actually never been on the same team. And if you think you're going to infiltrate and convince us that this is the same party while we get gaslit about everything that's happening, like I said, you lost the party. MAGA got fractured, not when Tucker Carlson interviewed Nick Fuentes, but when Donald Trump looked at us in our faces and said, Epstein who? That's when it was game over. Because Israel first is a cancer cell. It is a cancer cell, left or right, to everything and everyone that wants to play around with it. It is a radical psychosis that has manifested itself within both parties. And it is so radical that, in case you missed it, yesterday, they started attacking Brett Cooper. Brett Cooper, 23-year-old, bubbly Brett Cooper. She makes the majority of her videos dedicated to pop culture. Yes, she covers things that are, I would say, mainstream politics, nothing too daring, never speaks about Israel. And she did her part, by the way. Zionists wanted her to do her part and encouraged New Yorkers to get out and vote against Mamdani. But it's not enough, of course, because this is a radical ideology. You give them 100%. You even say one critique, and they don't want to break bread with you. They want to destroy you. And that's what they want to do to Brett Cooper, because she watched the totally deranged Tucker is not MAGA Republican Jewish coalition event, and she agreed with the
Shout out to Ada right here. Said, thanks for showing up for the elections now, Candace. Thank you so much for the $2 super. And I'm right there with you. Like, how in the world did we get to this place? And again, I feel like I missed another one. Some people, MT, say, understand country over party. Yes, absolutely. And I missed this one as well. I apologize. Ma'am, you did nothing to stop communism in New York. Not a thing. Not a thing. Thank you so much for the $2 super. Let's keep this going. Let's roll.
Majority of sensible people that demands to censor speech, to deplatform is not only childish, it's also ineffective. It's also antithetical to what it means to be a conservative. So I'm going to let you listen to what Brett Cooper said about Randy Fine. And let me know if you're just so offended that you think that she needs to be canceled and destroyed. Take a listen to what Brett Cooper said.
Like Randy.
Okay, I'm gonna stop real quick. I know y'all are just chomping at the bit to look at Brett Cooper. All right, so y'all, I gotta go with patchwork theories. I gotta take it. I gotta take patchwork theories. She's mentioned Jews and Jewish donors, not Jewish donors. I'm taking that one right there. Yeah, that's what we got. That's what we got right now. Am I missing any? I'm surprised she hasn't said Erica. That one is actually kind of surprising that she hasn't mentioned Erica, which and Erica's going to be on literally in about 3 hours. I'm surprised she didn't mention it. But anyway, y'all, at this point, I think we are descending into madness at this point. I need to bring up, this is madness because that's all we're watching at this point. Let's keep it going. Let's go.
Randy Fine, if you don't know who he is, he's a representative from Florida. He's the same guy who bragged about not washing his hands after he had a handshake with Netanyahu. He's repeatedly introduced bills to criminalize anti-Semitism, infringing upon free speech. I mean, he obviously, I'm sorry to say, but he obviously cares more about Israel than he does, principles like free speech. So, buddy, like, my advice to you, Randy Fine, is just move to Israel at this point. Like, considering you had to go through anger management classes a few years ago, I genuinely think you would probably be happier if you just moved to Israel. And that's not a dig at him. That's just a fact. It's a nudge of encouragement. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be healthy. I think you would be happier if you just moved to Israel. You could be over there singing songs with Mike Huckabee.
Seems like pretty sound advice. Rather than trying to make this country Israel, why don't you just go live in Israel? And here's what she had to say regarding Ted Cruz. Take a listen.
You are so blinded by your ridiculous, insane hatred of Tucker Carlson that you cannot see how irresponsible and hypocritical you are being. I mean, these tweets from Ted Cruz, I'm going to read you next, are a great example of this. So just a month ago, he tweeted this. He said, "They don't kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can kill you. Political violence is a left-wing phenomenon. Enough is enough. We need to shut it down." And then in response to Fuentes and Tucker this week, he tweeted this. "Trump's bombing of the Ayatollah's nuclear facilities made the little Nazi mad. Good. So now you're turning around and you're calling somebody that you don't like a Nazi. You're doing this out of blind rage because you're so angry that the conservative base's attitudes are rapidly changing, that Nick Fuentes is getting national attention, and so you have turned around and in response, you are compromising your own values and anger, which is such a dangerous precedent to set. And unfortunately for you guys, yes, the attitudes are changing, so again, it makes sense why this group is incredibly frantic.
She's a voice of Gen Z, so you would think that the good thing to do here would be to listen, to break bread, for someone to reach out and invite her onto a show so they can talk about it, so they can hear their voices. You might recall Charlie Kirk did this. He sat down with Gen Z and said, I'm trying to tell them that they are pushing an entire generation away with their actions. But we know how they responded to Charlie Kirk doing that. They started calling him an anti-Semite. They started squeezing him up into the last moments of his life.
I got to stop for a second. Everything, and please, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but every sentence is not ended with the punctuation mark of Israel. Stop it. Like literally, that's all that she's a one-trick pony. Literally, the only thing she can talk about is Israel. And she talks about now, hey, I do think that some of these people, their affection and their fawning over it is a little bit too much. You're doing too much. But Candace, you're doing the same thing. You're doing the exact same thing. She can't talk about anything else because she's only focused on Charlie. And if she's not focused on Charlie, it's Israel. That's it. That is all she has. Nothing else. And this is really, and again, I'm not saying that the representative was right. I mean, he's kind of out of pocket for sure. But ma'am, every sentence is not punctuated with Israel. It's just not. And you're making it this. And this is a trick. I'm sorry. This is a complete trick, a trap laid right in front of us, and we keep falling into it. I don't have an opinion about Israel. There's just too much that I need to worry about right here. There's just too much. It's just not, I just don't have time for that. And I don't understand why this is a hard concept to understand. And I would love for somebody to push back on Candace. Like, what are you concerned about outside of Israel? Israel's not the reason why craziness is going on in Tennessee. That's just not it. It's just not. You're not going to convince me of that. And give me your evidence if you need to, if you try to, rather. It's just sad, man, because this is the problem. And I saw somebody said earlier she wants infighting. That's exactly what she wants. It's exactly what she wants. Oh, and by the way, I'm not taking advice from Brett Cooper. I'm just not. I'm not getting chastised by her. Somebody who's doggone 31 years younger than me. Ma'am, I'm sorry. You have not had the life experiences that I've had. Now you can say something and we can have a conversation about it. Absolutely. But I'm not taking your advice. When the smoke clears, I'm just not going to do that. I'm just not. It's just not going to happen. Now, if Candace wants to sit there and sit at the feet of a 23-year-old, you do what you do, boo. Do you?
Life. They were making financial threats to him, and not just financial threats. They made good on those threats. People like Bob Shillman took $2 million away from him because he let Tucker Carlson hit the stage. They've learned nothing. That's
a random person.
So rather than trying to reach across and say to Gen Z or to say to Brett Cooper, hey, I'd love to have you on our show, or hey, I'd love for you to meet this person, they're already calling her the white Candace Owens. If you're Aaron Wexler, here's an actual tweet. Okay, white Candace, what is a Nazi then? Like, what?
Wait.
How does that make any sense? Why are you calling Brett Cooper the white Candace? Like, why are you even thinking about the fact that Brett Cooper is white? Why do we keep seeing this recurring theme of Jewish supremacists constantly having to comment on white people? Like, why does she have to be the white Candace? That's ridiculous. We don't even have the same ideas. She's saying something sensible, but it gets worse. Ted Cruz, who's a pretty sensible guy, comes out and tries to big timer. I don't know how he thought that would land. She's 23 years old. It looks very loserish to try to big time a 23-year-old with, who are you? Here's what he had to say. I don't know who this angry lady is, but she's missing a key distinction. Fuentes calls himself a Nazi. He has said that Hitler is very cool and Hitler was right and he is on Team Hitler. If you explicitly side with and advocate for Hitler, you are an actual effing Nazi.
What is wrong with that sentence? Where's the lie in what Ted Cruz said? Point out the lie. Where's the lie?
Nazi. Like, first off, class it up. We don't need you dropping F-bombs to a 23-year-old. Secondly,
hold on. Candace, you do it? You do it all the time. Y'all, come on. Stop playing. This woman, look.
Like I said, trying to big time her and act like you don't know who she is when you have done various things with the Daily Wire, including you were featured in a movie that Brett Cooper starred in at the Daily Wire, Lady Ballers. You're good friends with Michael Knowles. You know fully well who Brett Cooper is. And like, that was a super class.
Do you not make room for the fact that he also said, I don't know who this old lady is? I don't want to run it back, but he says, I don't know who this old lady is. Or let me see. What is he? Okay, I got to back it up. I don't want to do it, but hold on. Dang it. This angry lady. Do you make room that I think it's fair to say that Brett Cooper doesn't come across as an angry lady all the time? Do you make any room for what he's saying? That maybe I know her as being happy and bubbly and 23-year-old, pop culture commentator, and now we're looking at this angry lady. I don't know who this angry lady is. Why do you immediately go with he doesn't know who she is at all? I don't even understand that. That would just make sense. Like, if I came on the show and I'm dropping F-bombs, I'm drinking some cognac over here, smoking a blunt, y'all would probably say, I don't know who this man is. It would probably be, that would make sense. Not that you don't know who Jason is. You just don't know who the Jason is that's over here cussing and smoking and drinking. That would probably, y'all would be right to say, I don't know who that guy is. And you know what? If I did that, I bet you the people that know me more intimately than any of y'all would probably say, I don't know who that guy is. I don't even know who that dude is. Who is this guy that's talking loud outside of my kitchen? Because that's where Jason usually is. But this angry dude that's cussing and dropping profanity and smoking a blunt, I don't know who that guy is. This is not hard to think about. But as I said before, Candace gives no grace at all because she's okay with Brett Cooper being 23 years old. But as somebody just pointed out, Mikey's 23 as well. And he gets no movement at all. It is lockstep how he should behave. But Brett Cooper, she can be footloose and fancy free. Her frontal lobe is not developed.
Not just about trying to big time people, but you will find that there is this current of just sheer evil that Zionism goes hand in hand with, trying to deconstruct who an individual is very quickly. They began pouring through all of Brett's old content, looking for ways to go after her character. And they came across a clip of her speaking.
Unlike you going after Mikey, y'all, this cannot be real. This can't be real. Didn't you go after Mikey like that? I don't know who Jason is. I don't know. Editor Jason be acting up. Like, didn't you do that? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let's come on. All right. I gotta take a station break. All right. If you need, I'm just asking questions, you can have it. If you need, I'm just asking questions, you can definitely have it. And you know what? I'm just feeling like chaos today. You can also have FBI. You can just have it because at this point, we're just doing whatever. We're just going footloose and fancy free. We're just riding crazy. We're riding dirty through the hood. So might as well just go on and have a good time. This is crazy work. I'm like, what am I seeing here? This woman, yo, man, shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Please, good gracious, man.
Speaking to Sean Ryan last year. Now, before I give you the context of this clip, I want you to listen to it because it will really help you process just how spiritually evil and possessed these people are, okay? This is the tweet that went up, a couple of tweets that went up saying essentially she's a witch. I'm not kidding. This is a real tweet. What a surprise. Brett Cooper and her mom engage in witchcraft. She's not a conservative. I don't care how hard people want to gaslight me about it. Here's another tweet. Brett Cooper, the most...
I wouldn't mind them actually playing that clip. That clip is kind of weird. hold on now. I think it's interesting. Candace didn't play that clip because what she said in there is not just, hold on. What she says here, maybe I'll find it real quick and pull it up. Yo, it's not just him just saying that. The stuff she says is uber problematic. But I'm not surprised because remember, Candace, Charlie Kirk comes to Candace in her dreams. Remember that. Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up because we might have to look at that.
Tweet. Brett Cooper, the most recent hero of the woke right, is a secular, nominally religious spiritualist. Her views are inherently unchristian, but that doesn't matter to the woke right as long as she agrees with or permits their hatred of Jews. She's good to go in their book. This is not a Christian movement. Here is the clip they are referring to.
Play it.
We did all sorts of things. My mom visited mediums.
There we go.
After, I haven't done that, and I kind of want to, but she did. She went to multiple mediums, like one in New York where you don't tell them or even his assistant like who you are or anything about you, and you go to this hotel room, and you would just like sit there. Just like talking about it is so weird. And both her first husband and David popped up.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And we're like, there's a 17-year-old young man here who wants to speak to you. I mean, it was like, I was actually just thinking about this meeting the other day. I was Googling, trying to see if I could find him. I need to ask my mom the name because I would love to go just do this. But yeah, she was able to speak to Don, her first husband, to hear from him. She had a miscarriage between the boys, I think, and I'm pretty sure that at one of the medium things that baby came in.
I gotta stop for a second. Did she say I wanted to do this? She wanted to find out who the medium was and wanted to go and engage with the medium? Okay, because that's normal Christian behavior, right, Candace? That's normal behavior. I'm not saying that we got to go out here and just rake the girl over the coals, but I don't think it's a lap too far to say that is not Christian behavior. But I don't expect Candace to know that. I'm not under any compulsion to believe that Candace understands, knows, or even has an opinion about what real Christian behavior is like.
Said something?
You know the lights just dimmed behind you twice.
I saw that.
So she said she wanted to go to a medium. I mean, come on. We don't have to make this a lap too far. We can all agree. She said that.
Okay, so now let me properly contextualize the conversation that they're having.
Whoa, hold on now. Hold on. Hold up. How does Candace know how to contextualize the conversation? I bet you she's going to say Charlie told her. I bet you.
It's actually one of the most compelling and moving conversations I've ever seen Brett Cooper have. It's a very powerful episode of the Sean Ryan Show because she tells her backstory and you realize how much substance she has and the things that she lived through. She lived through a lot. This is somebody who had twin brothers, and one of her twin brothers dropped dead from a heart attack unexpectedly. And when she describes the dynamics of what they went through as a family, meaning things you don't think about, having an identical twin brother, and then one half of you're literally a split cell, dies suddenly, what that does to the other twin brother who has to walk by the mirror every day and see his brother, but his brother's actually dead. So her brother that survived went crazy. And she takes care of him. He is in a mental hospital. And she's talking about the grieving process that they went through, what her mother went through. Her mother went and visited mediums. Like, may you never know the pain of losing a child. Like, it is something that I can't even fathom the pain of losing a child and how it rips through her family. And she effectively lost a second brother because of having lost the first brother, and trying to come to terms with the fact that her family's never going to be the same again, how it led to divorce, all of these things. And they're just going, she's a witch. Her mother went to go visit a medium. That's it. Case closed. I mean, what is wrong with these people? I am telling you, there's no way.
The lack of self-awareness that Candace exudes is going to be studied by science. There are scientists right now that are preparing to write dissertations on the amount of delusion that Candace is exuding in this clip right here, because she is later on going to open up her mouth, and I promise you, she's going to dog out Mike McCoy. She's actually dogged him out already, but she can give duck and cover to Brett Cooper for this. And again, I'm not at all saying that the pain of losing a loved one is something that we should mock. That's not what anybody's saying. What we're saying, however, is going to a medium, a witch, is problematic. And she did not say that she did, but she did say she wanted to do that. That's a problem. That's a problem. There's no way around it. You're not going to beat those charges, so just go ahead and accept it. Go ahead and take that 25 to life in 0-second timeout. Just go ahead and accept it. Let's roll.
That we can break bread. The Israel First movement, like I said, is a true cancer.
How did Israel get back in
wants
here?
To destroy. There is so much hate, but I also want to be clear that they are growing increasingly dangerous because they are radical at their hearts, because these are the descendants of Bolsheviks. This is not something just to laugh at. It's something to pay attention to, okay? Because if they're going after Brett Cooper in this demonic of a way, someone who's just a bubbly girl who speaks mostly about pop culture, and now they're trying to dig up content and say that she's a witch, so we're supposed to drown her, burn Brett Cooper at the stake, then where does that put the rest of us? And their rhetoric is getting dangerous. They're saying another 9/11 is coming. I'm going to tell you guys about that in a little bit. Don't go away.
That was wild work right there, y'all. I don't even know. Y'all, I have no idea how we're supposed to take this woman seriously. Thank y'all so much to everybody who's jumped into the best, most electrifying live chat on the planet. I appreciate y'all jumping in and hanging out with us. Woo! Let's get through these supers and this commercial break, y'all. Let's get at it. MT coming up in here. I have Candace fatigue, but back later for Erica. I appreciate you. Bless you. Thank you so much, MT, for the $2 super. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And what Sammy say right here with the $2, she said Erica. She did say Erica. Absolutely. And my bingo board is getting more and more dark every time. Both sides came out on something about the lawsuit was really good. Yeah, I got the lawsuit. She's still trying to get it removed. And she'll try to get a bench trial, and it's not going to happen. Absolutely. Let's see what we get. Thank you so much for that. Patrina, thank you so much. And then let's go with Avengers with the $5 super. If Charlie left journals, why doesn't Candace talk about them? Being that she was so close to Charlie. Why is Candace talking about any of this? Let's keep it 100%. Why is she talking about anything as if she has a part or parcel in this? Ma'am, you don't have any role in this. Why are you even talking about it? Here, let's bring it in real quick. What is my bingo board looking like? It's not showing up. Why is it not doing it? I don't know. They don't want to behave. All right. Some reason or another, I think because I've been picking on Candace, she has somehow or another attacked my Wi-Fi, and I'm not able to pull up my screen. I have no idea why. I have no idea what happened. Why is this doing this? I'm getting attacked, y'all. Why is my, hold on a second, darn it. My StreamYard don't take jokes anymore, man. It does not like my jokes, man. It said, look, you cracking too many jokes over here today, Jason. You over here going hard in the paint on Candaspiracy. We can't have this. This is not acceptable. And okay. All right. So her commercial break is over. Let's bring it back in. Green hearts in the chat when y'all can hear. Shout out, shout out. Let's go.
Is she stupid? but she's also disgusting, right? I mean, Candace Owens has got to be one of the most disgusting folks who ever gets airplay on any major network.
And this is actually not even the worst of Candace
No,
Owens.
she's an
But that
anti-Semite.
says quite a lot.
Yeah, she's an anti-Semite. She's anti-gay. She's an anti-Semite. She has said stuff about the history of slavery in this country that's disgusting. Yes, it's funny insofar, you know, that you know, her statements make no sense. But when we really get to the core of the issue, she's just a disgusting human being, and that's the bottom line.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to have to say something. This is one of the few times I've heard anybody else give other examples of what Candace says that's problematic. He started out with the anti-Semitism, okay, whatever. But he talks about some other areas, and at least somebody did that. You know what? Hat tip to this guy. I don't know who he is. You know what? Matter of fact, I think some reason whenever I keep jumping screens, some reason it doesn't like it. All right, if you want to, you can have leaks, LE leaks. You can have leaks on your bingo board. So if you have leaks, you can have it now because, you know what? Shout out to him. I think he did a great job explaining that. All right, let's go.
I'm sorry, but that's just objectively funny. It's funny because they're being serious, and it's funny. When we get to the core of the issue, yeah, she's an anti-Semite. Yeah, she hates women. She hates black people. When we get to the core, she's just a disgusting person. All right, cool. Let's keep plodding along. A couple of updates on the Charlie Kirk story and something that is really bothering me in the back of my mind. Actually, a lot of things are bothering me, but here are two more things that are bothering me. Charlie was never rendered any first aid immediately. I know the security team. I know that one of them is supposed to administer first aid immediately. We don't see that happening. I've seen everything from different angles. When he's down on the ground, they don't put any gauze on him. They don't even put a hand where the wound is to try to stop the bleeding. In fact, when they pick him up, he is flopping all the way to the car. His neck is not even being held in a manner like they're trying to stop the wound from opening up. And something that really struck me as what is going on is the fact that he was never even put on the ground after he fell from the chair, okay? I'm going to explain this to you. Now, you know I have the back footage, I have the side footage, and what you can see is that the first thing that happens is the security guard actually grabs Charlie. So Charlie doesn't actually fall from the chair. The security guard lifts him and guides him onto the ground, which is what you're supposed to do. Obviously, get low. Unless you're Mikey McCoy, when shots go off, you're supposed to get low.
But didn't you just say he was never brought to the ground, but he brought him to the ground? I mean, she's refuting herself literally in the same sentence. Now, that's pretty impressive, though. You got to give her kudos for that.
And so he puts him behind the table, but he guides him on top of a suitcase, an equipment suitcase, so to speak. I'm going to show you guys that because no one has actually caught on to this. And at no point do they take him off of this, okay? So whatever, like 30 seconds pass, and it just strikes me as really odd that you wouldn't put him flat and straight, and then they're all kind of huddled over him on top of a suitcase, like an equipment box, so to speak. So here is this. I'm going to show you that. Look, has anybody caught this? Charlie was never actually put onto the ground, and his head, which we're obviously blurring out here, his head is flopped over. He is not level this entire time as they are laying over him. They never put him on the ground. I find it very strange.
Yo, hold on, y'all. Hold on. I just figured it out. Y'all, hold on. I got a big screen. Big screen this, Jason. Y'all, I got to let y'all know. Samsonite did it. That's it. We done figured it out. Toomey did it. That's it. Come on. Let's get them. Let's wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Samsonite and Toomey, Penguin or Pelican cases. They did it. Y'all, this woman is literally showing this as if this is some major information. Yeah, and you see something is wrapped around the man's face right there. Y'all, this woman, case closed because Samsonite did it. Toomey and Pelican cases all conspired to do this. This is well past ridiculous. This is well past ridiculous. Y'all, please, I don't be asking y'all to pray often, but please pray that they sue this woman's socks off. I mean, I want her socks. The ones that are in the dirty clothes hamper, I want all the socks. I want them to sue all the socks off of Candace Owens. This is craziness, y'all. She really thinks she's cooking. I really feel like I'm talking to a crack addict behind the local Burger King. Like, how in the world? Y'all put a sock emoji in the chat. Just put a sock emoji.
Side of him, which is very strange. As far back as we could look, we couldn't see this sort of a setup. Everything is weird this day. And on the inside, they have these boxes. So I'm actually putting this out here because A, it's weird, but B, I am wondering, and maybe somebody can look this up, so I know everybody is looking at different angles of footage. If they moved that box that Charlie was on, if that box was moved before camera boy comes and removes the cameras, or was that equipment box still there? Because that's only about 4 minutes that passes, and I don't recall seeing that equipment box in the aftermath, and it's just weird they kept him on it. Like, that's just not even in common.
Erica's interview is at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time. We will be watching it here. So we will be watching if you want to tap back in later on tonight.
Sense scenarios. If I was there and I was not being paid millions and millions of dollars to secure the venue like these individuals were annually, I would know that you have to get a body flat to administer any sort of aid, to assess things. I actually don't know what they're doing for about 20 seconds, for about 30 seconds down there. I don't know what they're doing. They seem to be huddled up. Doing what? Doing what exactly are you doing? If you are not securing the wound, if you're not even trying to get his head level, what are you doing? That's a long time to be down there, according to me and common sense. Just common sense. You got to do something.
According to me. Okay, I'm just going to give you, that's definitely trust me, bro. That's definitely trust me, bro. So according to me, that's wrong. So we got to, that's trust me, bro, all day, every day. So shout out to anybody that's got bingo. I've got bingo 4 ways. I'm trying to get blackout at this point. And I'm going to cheat, so I'm going to get blackout anyway. So I'm just going to let you know that ahead of time. I will be getting blackout bingo. This is just, this woman thinks she's cooking, y'all. This is some crazy work, man. This woman really thinks she's cooking. Bless her heart.
They don't even open their bag to try to administer any aid. And they're paid millions of dollars per year to do that. Anyways, the second thing, if you have that footage, if you can see if that box is moved, I would like to know if that box is still there. And
it's still right there at UVU, right there. It's right there.
Second thing that is bothering me is, 1 millionth thing that is bothering me is Mikey McCoy's instant phone call. We've already discussed it. It's strange, okay? They're definitely lying about the fact that he's covering his ears, because I just saw more footage and he never stops this move for a single second, even when he gets way beyond and starts going left towards a parking lot and he's finally out of view. He never once puts this down. So I still holding and maybe thinking what? It doesn't make any sense, okay? Anyways, I have been sort of not wanting us to engage in setting aside our common sense, obviously. The excuses that we have been given, none of it makes, the excuses make even less sense, actually. And the excuse that we were given about what Mikey was doing is like running in the back of my head. Blake Neff, who was there.
That's because it's empty back there.
On Charlie Kirk's show, and he was pretty fired up about people asking questions about what Mikey was doing.
Told you.
And I just want you to listen to what Blake Neff says that Mikey was up to in those seconds. Now, like I said, we can track Mikey, okay? Here is what he says, just to listen to what I actually find to be quite odd about this. Take a listen.
The shooting occurs. I am next to Mikey. Both of us hear a loud crack. We both turn. We both see Charlie, who has been shot. Both of us, I think at about the same time, realize that that means there is a shooter who is on the scene. And, you just hear the crack, so you don't know, did it come from far away? Did it come from close? Is there a mass shooter unfolding right now? So I and him both had the reaction of, let's get out of here before we are both shot. That is not us abandoning Charlie. Charlie had a security team. They all leapt immediately into action, and they got Charlie out of there, which was what their job was to do. My job was not to get in the way and screw this up because, I had to be a hero. That was not my job. I remember even running past, both of us going past the SUV that we came in on, and me thinking, should I get in that car? And then thinking, no, that's a really stupid thing to do. And then I kept going. So I was not with Mikey, or I don't remember being with him. I think I was ahead of him as we left.
Yeah.
And then we get out, and I run for, can't have been more than 15 or 20 seconds. And then I realize there hasn't been another shot, so the shooter has likely been detained or stopped or something, not in immediate danger. I pause, I look around me, and I see Mikey. And I see Mikey there. And truthfully, I will never forget what I saw, because I've seen Mikey almost every day for the past 2 years. I know his personality very well. He's a very bubbly guy. He's a very happy guy almost all of the time. And I'll never forget what I saw, because it was clear in the moment that he was profoundly freaked out. What I'll always remember is the way his lip was quivering, which I'd never seen before. And you very rarely see from someone that he was freaking out. And then,
you know, if what she was going to say next, if it were right on the money, she wouldn't have let this guy talk this long, because she would have got right to where he was saying whatever the problematic thing is. And it just seems weird, right? It's funny that she thinks this is cooking.
I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was, he was looking around, and then he says, I need to call Erica. And then he takes his phone and he begins calling Erica. And I don't want to disclose how that call unfolded, but he did that. Your mind extends
Erica's
all
entered
of
the
this,
chat.
but that is happening within a minute of all of this occurring. I remember he calls Erica. Around the same time, I pull out my phone and I call my mom just to say, Mom, there's been a shooting. You're going to see it on the news. I'm okay. Pray for me. I've got to go. And I remember that call. And around the time I put that phone away, and then he immediately calls his dad. He calls Rob McCoy. And he says, Dad, someone shot Charlie. You need to call all of your pastor friends. Charlie was hit. We need everyone to pray right now. And that's what he told him. And I guess it's very disgusting for me as someone who witnessed this, who saw Mikey hugely distressed and then step up in the moment, because after that call was over, I saw Mikey get total mastery of himself, that he realized he had to step up in this situation. And from that point, he was like a general directing a battle, where he was, grabbing people and saying, okay, we need to get to the hospital and we need to do these things, and you guys need to wait here. I need to get in here to get information so that I can get it to Erica. And when we learned he was dead, he came out and he told us, and then he says, now none of you can say anything that you've heard, because Erica is not going to hear about this from anyone except me.
Okay, so here is what is wrong with that. First and foremost, because we have further footage of Mikey walking, there is no way he was covering his ears. Okay, he doesn't dial, and he keeps it like this all the way past Charlie's car. Think Charlie's coming in. Mikey goes straight past the car, and then he goes all the way to the left, and he never brings his hand down. Okay,
so she's so big proud that she has an iPhone. And look, I'm not an iPhone guy. I'm an Android guy. Shout out to my Samsung Galaxy. But you can dial the phone with it to your ear still. You can hit your watch. You can say, hey, Siri, call whomever. There's tons of different ways to dial the phone without having to take it down from your face. Why is she acting like that's just obtuse? Why can't she not believe that? Because remember, she gave duck and cover to Brett Cooper, who's 23 years old. Mikey can't get that same respect, can't get that same graciousness. That's what I'm saying. This woman is out of control.
he's not covering his ears for that long. It doesn't make any sense. Blake might think he's telling the truth, but it's not a true account of what happened on that day. Okay, I'll say that again. Blake might think he's telling the truth, so it is possible that Blake is not lying. Okay, but it is not a true account of what happened on that day.
You don't know what's a true account either, though, Brenda. You don't know this. You weren't there yourself. How do you know that what he's saying is not true? He said he was 20 to 30 seconds after the fact. I don't think you've looked at film that far. I don't remember you saying that. So why in the world are you even, what is that? What are you expecting to get from this? By saying the man had his fingers in his ears or not? What do you want to get from this? What is your goal? This is crazy work.
Clearly, and it looks to me like he knows where he's going. It
Who
is up right by
cares?
the parking lot, that in the general direction of the parking lot that he seems to be going straight and then to the left. And he is on the phone already. And Blake Neff is nowhere to be seen. We can track those movements. We are told that within the minute of Charlie getting shot, he called both Erica and he called both Robbie McCoy. And that's one of those little things that's really messing with me. Because the implication here is that the call with Erica had to be fast. Okay, the implication here is that the call with Erica had to be fast. I want you to imagine you get a phone call.
You know where she's going with this, don't you?
From whoever saying that the person that you love most in this world and the person that you are married to has been shot. How fast are you getting off that phone? You're staying on the phone. You're asking questions. There's a series of questions that need to be answered. You scream. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Where is he? Where do I go? Blah, 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 blah. Is he okay? I mean, there are a litany of questions that would be asked. And please don't tell me that this is some situation where that wouldn't be the circumstance. I am so tired of the you wouldn't know what you would do. I do know that you...
But you don't. That's the thing that I think, that's where the lack of humility really rears its ugly head. Like, you don't know, you weren't there. By God's grace, you'll never have to get that phone call, Candace. So you're literally imposing self-concocted solutions and as such into a scenario that you may never, by God's grace, never have to experience. That's like me saying, what would happen if Spider-Man came bursting through my door? This is what I would do. Ma'am, sir, what are you talking about? And I really want y'all to think about, what is she implying by saying that the man was on the phone with Erica very quickly? She's going to imply that he made a call and said it was done. That's what she's trying to get to. She's not going to say it. She's not going to say it outright with her full throat, but she's saying that Mikey called her and said, hey, the job is done. That's what that's where she's trying to get to. That's why the call was so short and he was able to get to call his dad. That's where it is.
You're asking a series of questions, which means naturally, if what he is saying is true, and until they reunited, which does not happen in our eyesight, we do not see Blake and Mikey reunite when we track Mikey all the way straight down to the left, okay? The 12:23 minute has got to be over by the time he sees his lip quiver, by the time he says, I have to call Erica, and then he's going to call Erica, and I'm supposed to believe, what, this was a 15-second phone call? Hey, Charlie's been shot. Got to call you later. Like, because I got to call my dad and ask him to pray. By the way, that one, too, doesn't make sense. You could call your dad after you call 911. I mean, there's so many things that would happen before I called my dad and asked him to pray if you're really going to snap into it. And I know for a fact also that one of his first phone calls, it wasn't just 2 phone calls he made 3, because he also called Elizabeth McCoy, his wife, who screamed at the office, okay? And so we're not being told the truth. That's what I'm getting at. We are not being told the sensible truth. Was his phone call to Erica only 10 seconds? Like, you just drop that news and keep it moving? Or was he already on the phone with Rob McCoy? What happened, okay? I need clarification, because every day that goes on, it feels to me like Turning Point is engaged in a cover-up. And there's no other way to say this. There's no other ways. I don't care who at Turning Point tweets. I literally do not care. I will breathe fire on all of you. I know how these events work. Why was this event confirmed so quickly when it was requested so late? Answer these questions. I need answers to these questions to understand what happened on that day. Because the way that Mikey moves is like he knows where he's going. It's like they know where they're going to meet.
Told you.
And we know that they got to the hospital very quickly, because Blake Neff says elsewhere, they got into the hospital within 25 minutes, okay? They knew instantly where the hospital was. They knew which direction to go to, the communication that's flowing. I think Frank said...
Told you. This woman right here, this is impressive to be this vile and dare. And again, remember, she's Charlie Kirk's best friend. And, you know, I really hate to say it. She's going to pick apart everything that Erica says, and she's going to do an emergency show probably Thursday night, or Friday morning, because she's got to pull apart all the quote unquote lies that she extracts from Erica's interview tonight at 8:00. This woman, man, y'all,
He was on the phone while they were in the car with his family members. Don't quote me on that. So all of this happened, you instantly got to the hospital, which, by the way, the hospital was put on lockdown when Charlie came in, is what we were told. They let Mikey and the Turning Point boys in. Maybe that's true. It sounds like it is true. Obviously, we know that you were there when they came out and said that Charlie had died, according to Blake Neff and according to Frank Turek's testimony. But a lot of this little stuff is not making sense. Okay.
You know
It's
why?
not making
Because it's
sense.
not for
And you. Cannot
you.
tell me that to dispel.
She makes it sound as if somebody's giving her information and they're giving her all of the information and she's not getting it from all of these different random ne'er-do-wells that probably don't have all the information themselves. The building was put on lockdown. So this is gross. Shout out to the Candies. If you're a Candy, you know you got premium seating up here in the front of the church. This is your person, y'all. This is your girl. And she wilding out, y'all. Let's go.
This rumor, right, by letting people see the call logs, by letting people see
No.
the video footage,
Nope.
would somehow hurt the case. Because that's the
You
BS.
don't have to see it. I don't have to show it to you. Why would anybody in their right God-given minds give Candace Owens their call logs? Please tell me that in the chat. Again, let's just say that the call logs have nothing to do with the case. You're not under the gag order TPUSA at all. You can give the information wherever you want to. You can put it on the back of the New York Times. You can tattoo it on the back of that crazy man that runs downtown. You can put it wherever. Why would you give Candace Owens your call logs? I want to know that. Why would you do that? I really think your call logs are more safe in the hands of a hacker. I really don't think there's any other place safer than Candace. I mean, there's no way.
They're selling us right now. Like, transparency would hurt the case. And like I've said, if transparency would hurt the case, then it's because you don't have a case. Okay? If transparency would hurt the case, it's because you don't have a case. And if you're telling me that your phone logs on that day would somehow hurt the case, you are asking me to be an idiot. And I can't be an idiot. I can't pretend.
Oh, we're not asking you to be an idiot, baby. We are not asking you to be an idiot. Nobody's asking you to be an idiot. You're doing that all on your own. You're doing that free of charge.
Lying about the phone calls. They're lying about the timing of the phone calls. The phone calls don't make sense. Just want to say that.
Nobody cares.
Chill. I'm getting a little fired up. I said I wasn't going to do that.
Who cares?
I'm getting fired up again.
Get fired up, Candace. Get fired. Get turned up, Candy. Get turned up. I want energy, girl. Don't hold back anything. I need energy, y'all. Candy, I need energy because you know what? Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to get a plane. I need my plane. I want you to get amped up, Candy. Don't hold back nothing. Give us unadulterated, unequivocal, sinful candy on full display so we can all see and be finally convinced that, ma'am, you are evil in 4K. Don't hold back nothing. Don't be a hypocrite. Be who you are. Be your unadulterated, wicked self. Let us all see it. Be fired up. By the way, why does she keep referencing dragons? Did you not hear her say, I will blow fire all over you? Why does she keep doing that? Am I to take that that's just, she just likes Lord of the Rings and she thinks she's Smaug? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? Y'all stop playing with me.
Hopeful that we're going to get some more clarity.
This is hilarious.
And something else that I want to say, building on yesterday, the feeling I'm getting that they were positioning Mikey to be the new Charlie. Well, here's another little fun fact. Obviously, after Charlie died, there were no new scheduled posts on his YouTube page, meaning like, on your YouTube page, there's the live section. That's where you guys are right now. They had the live videos of people at the memorial event. But in terms of like scheduled posts to go out, they didn't bring back his YouTube channel and start scheduling those posts until after the memorial event, which makes sense. It would have been all hands on deck for the memorial event. And when they came back and began scheduling posts on Charlie's channel, the first post they scheduled was Mikey McCoy's speech. It was a picture. I'm going to show you this. Look, so it goes in order from bottom to top. So you see you've got Charlie and Ben, you've got Charlie and Jack Posobiec, you've got Charlie, and then it stops. And then when they bring the channel back, even before they put Erica's speech, they put Mikey McCoy and his wife. I don't like it.
Who cares?
I don't like it at all.
Nobody cares.
This stinks to high heaven.
So does your breath.
Of all the speeches you could have picked to put first, right? You could have picked J.D. Vance. You could have picked Trump. You could have put Erica. Erica's was second. You put Mikey McCoy and his wife. What's going on? Anyways, I am hopeful that some more points will be clarified tonight when the very anticipated interview drops between Jesse Waters and Erica Kirk. I will be watching. I am actually ecstatic to hear more from Erica. I know she's obviously been given that time to grieve, and I'm hopeful that she's going to provide just a bit more sense to this entire situation. I need more sense applied to the situation. Lastly, and switching gears here, what I want to say to you, and this is building upon what I said earlier, is pay very close attention, because all of the wrong people, and by this I mean the pro-Israel crowd, are signaling hard to us that another 9/11 is coming. They're jacking up the jihad rhetoric. Everyone's a jihadist. Muslims are coming. The Muslims are here. Mabdani, there's a jihadist threat. Something big is coming. And the Pentagon, okay, like where the Department of Defense is housed, the Pentagon, which was implicated in 9/11, a lot of questions about what the Pentagon was up to, a lot of questions about the Pentagon, okay? They have just given press passes. They've just put Laura Loomer in their press corps. I'm not kidding. Check this out. Check out this headline. Conservative activist Laura Loomer, a Trump ally, says she has a new Pentagon press pass. Now, this is of interest. This should be of interest to everybody, because you don't have to be a Laura Loomer hater or a Laura Loomer lover to know that Laura Loomer quite literally has psychiatric issues, okay? She has been on multiple Psych 5150 holds. She is the person who, in case you didn't know this, chained herself to Twitter when she got banned from Twitter. And she wore a Star of David. Now, crazier than the fact that she chained herself with Twitter headquarters and was wearing a Star of David and trying to correlate being banned from Twitter as being in a Holocaust is the fact that Laura Loomer is factually not Jewish. Okay, so she's living in a delusion that she's even Jewish. That was politically expedient for her to say that she was Jewish. She can't produce any bat mitzvah pictures because it never happened. No bat mitzvah, it just never happened. She became.
I bet you you can't show us any evidence that Charlie had a Catholic mass. I bet you can't show us that. I bet you can't show us that Charlie was laid to rest at a Catholic cemetery. I bet you can't show us that. I bet you can't show us any text messages between you and Charlie Kirk from the year 2023 on. I bet you.
Jewish, in essence, I suppose, for political reasons, and has gone so far in this identity crisis that she changed herself to Twitter headquarters and made it like a Jewish thing when they kicked her off of Twitter back in 2018. Now, I don't even agree with the fact that they kicked her off. I don't agree with them kicking anybody off. But you should know that our Department of Defense, for whatever reason, is signaling that she's an okay person to be in the building. That just seems like maybe a flight risk. Like if you're just interested in basic safety and defense, you wouldn't allow that person in a building like the Pentagon specifically. And they're doing that. Why? Because
what if you thought that there was something afoot? Why wouldn't you go and apply for a press pass? A press pass just means that you get to come for briefings. That's it. It's not really that big a deal. But why don't you go and apply for a press pass and see if you get it? Then you actually have some evidence, Candace, to say, hey, they let Laura Loomer get in. They did not let me get in. They let Laura Loomer get in. They also let me. It would really be that simple. It'd be that easy peasy. But see,
she has proven over and over again that she has no soul, and she will lie over and over again on people, on places, and on things that she sees with her own eyes, as long as she defends the state of Israel, which has absolutely nothing to do with her.
How did Israel get back in the chat?
Okay. On top of that, we have Josh Hammer, who just looks evil, just looks like a Bond villain.
Hold on. Wait up a second. Editor Jason, I need you to rewind the tape. Remember that guy earlier when he said that Candace Owens just is a disgusting person? And remember how Candace kind of poo-pooed that off and laughed because he was just giving his opinion about she's just a disgusting person. So now Josh Hammer, she's doing the exact same thing to Josh Hammer. Y'all, this woman, she doesn't expect Candice to think. I'm sorry. Candice, I know y'all don't like this, Candice. I know. but she thinks you're stupid. I don't think you're stupid. I don't. Here at the Jay Witt Podcast, Candies, we do not think that you're stupid. We really want to challenge you to think and ask questions. Ask Candy some serious questions. And when you get dejected by her, don't worry, we'll still save you a seat at the front of the church. This woman is crazy, y'all. Okay, I gotta go.
Similarly, signaling along with many others that there's going to be another 9/11. And again, the pro-Israel crowd would know a little something about that. Take a listen to what Josh Hammer said.
New York City, for the time being, it looks like you are pretty screwed. For the time being, it looks like you are literally going to have
cooked.
A Karl Marx quoting, Hamas-loving, red-green alliance sicko. Yes, he is an absolute sicko. You're going to have this guy as the next mayor. A quarter century, just under a quarter century, actually, after 9/11, after the largest Islamic mass terrorist attack in global history, certainly in American history, but find me another single casualty event that killed that many people as were tragically killed on September 11th, 2001, a day that as a native suburban New Yorker myself, I remember all too well. Less than a quarter century later, they are going to have a Muslim mayor, and not merely a Muslim mayor, but a Muslim mayor who has refused repeatedly to utterly condemn things such as globalize the Intifada, who injected his unique far-left noxious brand of Middle East politics, somehow injected that into a municipal election there for various identitarian identity politics reasons there.
Did he lie, though? Y'all, real quick. Did Josh lie? Okay, fine. Candace doesn't like Josh Hammer. Okay, fine. But did the man lie, though, is the question we're asking right now. Did he lie? Was there a lie detected? I'm looking for the lie detector. Where is the lie?
Who are you more afraid of as an American, Muslims or Zionists?
That's a great question. And I think that goes to show just how nose blind you are. That is crazy work that she just said that. Somebody needs to clip that. I'm sure that it's already on Twitter.
For me personally, because like whenever they get on this thing where they start talking about like there's going to be a war, whenever they start itching for a war, like they want a regime change in Iran, they find a reason that something happens and suddenly our boys are being sent. So what I will say is your best guard against this is just to refuse to fight in the war that I think they're foreshadowing. Just refuse, honestly, on a principle, refuse. Because our administration has been infiltrated and there are extremely evil people that are at the helm of the United States military and that are not caring at all about American lives, in my viewpoint, not taking a stance whatsoever for the freedoms that people in the past have fought for. Like this administration is not even fighting for free speech on college campuses anymore. And it's a turnaround. It is a 180 from the Trump that came down the escalator. I will not support it. You're not going to convince me that this is the MAGA movement. It's not. And the reason I know it's not is because all the Never Trumpers are praising it. And I've always been against Never Trumpers. So if Trump joined the Never Trump party, then good on him, but I'm not following him there. That's what I'm going to say on that topic. Before we answer some of your comments, we'll throw it to a few sponsors.
All right,
you guys, the Fed just dropped interest rates again.
Y'all, I don't even know. I have no idea what to do. Real quick, I'm just going to, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this thing up real quick. All right, she going to give it to, you know what? If you need it, you can have tip line. She has no proof, so y'all can have that. I have no idea how we made it this whole episode without a shout out to Kanye West. I'm going to hold out till the very end. I cannot believe we did not make it. We made it this far and did not get a shout out to Kanye West. That's going to go on the books for sure. That's got to go in the books. Wow, I cannot believe that, man. But real quick, let's go through these. Shout out to these outstanding super chats. Thank you so very much for you all supporting what we're doing over here on the channel. Thank you so very much. Let's keep it going. Tatum has a video that shows McCoy covering ears. You can see it blatantly. Why does it even matter? Thank you so much for the $5 super. Why is she fixed on that? And she fixates on really small ancillary things. Was the box moved? Man, what? Why are you worried about that? Why did he take down the camera? Ma'am, like she finds small little things to nitpick and make a mountain out of a lint. I don't even know if it's a lint ball. I don't know what it is. Like, it's crazy work, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate you there. Let's go with Avengers up in the building. This is strangely relaxing with the $2 super. We try to be relaxed over here. We try to be relaxed, even though we want Candace to go full mask off, demon mode. We want full demon mode, Candace. Give us what we're asking for. Amethyst Angel, thank you so much for supporting the channel with the $5 super. Charlie had a plan for every situation. Why is that a big deal? Why is that surprising? And he selected men to execute every step of every possibility. They probably did tabletop drills. I'm trying to figure out, why is that even a thing, though? Do you think, this is another question. Do you think Charlie grew Turning Point USA without a plan, without journaling, without laying out some very clear, defined goals and objectives and stance and having processes in place? Like, why would that be surprising? I don't think they sat around every day talking about what will happen if I get shot. I don't think he did that. But I do think he did. I think they did. Like, if we have an emergency, do this. And maybe it was like, if I have a heart attack on stage, if a meteorite crashes in on me, if Ninja Turtles come out of the gutter, do this. Like, I'm sure there probably was something of that nature. Shout out with Miss V with the $5 super. Did Erica do an interview with someone? Interesting that Candy addresses Erica accusations today. Is Candy concerned Erica will speak up on the circus? And I think so. I do think that she's preparing, just like she did yesterday, to try to lay out a case that, hey, if Erica don't call me out, she's supporting me. That's what she's trying to do. Thank you for the $5 super, and I think that's what she's doing. Ada comes back in and says this: in a GSW, gunshot wound, we always go lockdown in the hospital. I'm a trauma ER nurse, have had tons of GSWs. Thank you so very much, Ada, for the $5 super and for the work that you do. That makes sense. But even more than that, I'm not assuming that I know everything. And I knew somebody was going to say there was a reason and a protocol for that. And I'm like, it doesn't surprise me if they go on lockdown. Okay. Now, remember earlier she was saying that it was a strange thing that they went to that particular hospital that they went to, as if it was like going out of the way. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to the right hospital and they got there very fast. So now they're danged if they do and they're danged if they don't. It's crazy work, y'all. Crazy work. Shout out over here with fans with the $5 super. Security should first protect him. They make sure there is not another shot. Move him off of the X, then provide treatment. That just makes sense. But see, I'm willing to accept that I don't know that. And I'm like, well, they probably did exactly what they're supposed to do. And they did the right thing. Again, like, this is just crazy work. And again, she's trying to put in play this idea, this notion, seed this thought that Turning Point was all in cahoots. And Mikey called Erica and said the task is done. The eagle is down. And then calls Dad, make sure you pray. The task is done. The eagle is down. That's crazy work, man. That is evil. That's some evil stuff. Erica will follow attorney's directions. If she doesn't drop Mrs. Farmer's name, you can rest assured they're collecting information. I don't know, but I know. I'm sorry, I don't know, but I know. Shout out to you, Amethyst Angel, with the $5 super. I think that's a great point. Let's see what happens. If they don't mention it, who knows? Maybe there is a reason why. That's a great point. Shout out to it. $2 from MT says this: she's priming her fans for the Erica attack. There you go. So she'll pop back on. I'm pretty sure she's going to do an emergency show tomorrow. She'll do a show early. If Erica says a lot of stuff that really chafes her hide, she's going to probably hop on early. She won't wait till 5 o'clock. She'll be on at 2 o'clock in the morning. Shout out to MT again. Candy struggled with alcoholism and anorexia. $5 super. She did have an eating disorder. She did. And she meditated and prayed and went through yoga to get rid of her, to deal with her anorexia. Okay. And with the $10 super, thank you so much, Stealth. All Candace fans should be asking for evidence from Candace. Otherwise, shut up. I'm right there with you. Like, where is your evidence to this? She said that there were 12 phones or 20 Israeli phones on campus. Where'd you get that information from? How did you get that? Because if that be the case, then you probably got the cell tower information, and you know that Mikey, if you know Mikey's phone number, I guess you know that he called Erica. I mean, that's crazy work. Shout out to Sammy right here with the $5. I was born in St. Lucia, moved to New York in 99, almost was a victim of 9/11 and half my family. Yes, I'm sus of Muslim. I'm right there with you. But Candace is giving them duck and cover. The most problematic people on the planet are Zionists, according to Candaspiracy, which is crazy work. I don't even understand that. That makes no sense at all. Let's finish this show up. Let's go. Oh, she's still, wait, huh?
About 7 Weeks Coffee, because if you've been listening to this show, you coffee.com. All right, I told you we're going to start pulling the top comment from every episode. So this is the top comment from yesterday's episode. Margaret
Because
writes,
it's
Pastor
recorded.
McCoy makes me feel very uncomfortable. Something very evil emanates from this man. He does not have a good face. I agree with you. Like I said, Charlie always said the eyes are the window to the soul. I look at him and I know that everything is wrong. I just know that everything is wrong. Stephen Forker writes, Candace, I've been a supporter of Trump since 2016, but after Charlie's death and the complete lack of transparency, is this still the same Trump that Charlie, you and millions of others voted for and believed in? Absolutely not. And like I said, it was before Charlie's death. Then the mass down moment for me that we had been completely occupied was when he said, why are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? A story was released later that he was protecting some of his donors. And that's the problem. You know, that's his vice. Trump loves money, and it looks like he has sold his soul for money. That's the reality. And they're not going to convince me that I have to support an administration that wants to gaslight me about a person who harmed children. Okay, not going to happen. John Diamond writes, Dear Candace, if we are in the Matrix and you are Morpheus, all you offer is the truth. On a personal note, thank you for helping the scales fall from my eyes regarding Israel. As always, love to you, George, and your kids. Christ is King. Indeed, he is. And look, we all wake up at some point. I'm grateful if people have learned from my show. I hope that people will challenge themselves to read the books, because you can't just realize what's happening today. You have to also recognize what Israel, how it came together. You have to start with Sigmund Freud, the early Zionist movement, Theodore Herzl, his connection to him, why they were connected. We talk about this on my book club. Even if you can't join the book club, you can still buy those books. And so I would start with The Assault on Truth by Jeffrey Masson.
And I've said this before, and I started my book discussion club yesterday. Shout out to everybody that was there. We were going through Pilgrim's Progress. And I got a big screen this. Why is it that Candace's books all lead to, direct people to the exact same place that she wants to get to? Why is it that instead of pointing to all this, and I've said this before, I said this about the Macron case, actually. I said, hey, even though her investigation is going to be fruitless, nothing is coming of her investigation. But let's just pretend that it does. What is the end goal of exposing Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte Macron? We know that they're sinners. We already know that she was grooming him when he was younger, and she was way older than him. We already know that. Actually, we don't need any more evidence to know that this couple are sinners. So even if you expose the worst of the worst about them, guess what? They're still going to be sinners, and they are still going to need a savior. What are you giving them and her audience? What are you giving your audience as it relates to salvation and pointing them to Christ? Because what she does is she actually generates a level of self-righteousness in her audience. Her audience says, oh, I am not like those terrible, mean, low-down, rotten BLM people. Oh, I'm so much better than Jeffrey Epstein. I am way better than the Macrons, both of those men. I'm better than them. But they're sinners too. And Candace is not giving them any truth that's going to cause them to recognize that their own sinful state is in jeopardy and peril. The only thing different between a sinner, any old run-of-the-mill sinner, and the Macrons is that nobody's looking at the run-of-the-mill sinner like they're looking at the Macrons. That's it. Candace is literally giving these people a pharisaical viewpoint of themselves. Like, I'm so much better than them. When in actuality, I'm just as bad as them. I'm just as bad. I'm a sinner in the hands of an angry God, and I don't have any recourse. I have no escape. What do I do? And that's why we're reading through Pilgrim's Progress, and we run. not to our self-righteousness, not to Legality Mountain, not to Civilityville or any of those other places. We run to Christ. But Candace won't tell them that. And I'm going to put the bounty out one more time. If you can show me a video of Candace actually explaining the gospel to somebody, full-throated, you're a sinner, you need a salvation, you need Christ, the cross, the repentance, send me that, please. I really would like to watch it. I really would like to see it. I'm going to finish this up because we got Erica's coming on at 8 o'clock, and I want to make sure I fix dinner. So let's finish this up.
Then move on to this most critical book, which is Sigmund Freud and the Jewish mystical tradition. I think the combination of those two books are absolutely potent to the Zionist narrative. I truly
Why
do.
not
And
the
you'll also start to
gospel?
recognize the psych tactics that they use on us, the gaslighting. That is why they celebrate Sigmund Freud, is because he mainstreamed gaslighting people that they harmed. That's just a fact, an inescapable fact, as Jeffrey Masson, who was
Why
in control
not
of the Sigmund Freud archives, points out.
Gospel.
And Andrea writes, please help us locate the video of Charlie Kirk's entire answer to the first question that he was asked about Jesus Christ at Utah Valley. I had no luck finding the entire 8 to 10 minute clip. Only 20 to 60 second videos come up. It shouldn't be this hard to find. My producer made a note that it has made the rounds and that we have it. I think the best way to find that stuff is always on X. I really do think that there's a lot of people that share those things. So yeah, we will, I don't know how we would get that to you. Nicola writes, I love how so many people.
That's interesting. The person asked for a video about Christ, and she doesn't pull it up to play it. Look, maybe I'm just being petty at this point. Never mind. I'm just being petty at this point. Like, that was an opportunity to talk about the gospel, as I literally just said. Never mind.
In the chat keep complaining about what Candace chooses to talk about or claim that she's grifting, but continue to watch and bump up Candace's views. Yeah, those are our resident Zionist friends. They're here every episode. Say hello to them. Intuition Jen writes, thank you for calling out TPUSA and holding them accountable. It really stinks. It does. And it won't survive. It won't survive this. If they are not forthcoming about what happened, if they are not forthcoming about why they had all of these dramatic changes, who were the ops that were back home, who was he on the phone with, there's no way he was holding, now that I saw the footage all the way of him beyond, still on the phone. He does not dial a number, and he's on it for way too long. They're lying to us. And I don't know why they're lying to us, but you only lie when you have something to hide. So what is it that they're hiding from us? Caitlin, and who are they protecting? Who are they protecting, actually? Caitlin Carey writes, thank you for all that you do. What do you think about Jordan Peterson getting sick while in Israel? It's hard for me to believe that someone that was smart wasn't waking up to. I feel spiritually not right that he's been MIA since right before they shot Charlie. I did not know that he got sick while he was in Israel. I don't think if the implication here is that he was shifting viewpoints. Jordan Peterson has been a stalwart on the topic of Israel. I've never even seen any daylight crack on that topic. And for me personally, I found that it was unbearable because he was so hypocritical on this particular topic. And I don't know, I'm not a Jordan Peterson fan because I don't think he lived his life in the way that he inspired so many to live theirs. Obviously, that aside, compartmentalizing my ideological disagreements with Jordan Peterson, I hope he gets well. And I'd have to look into how he got sick. We get very weird answers that don't provide a lot of clarity. So I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with Jordan Peterson. I have no insight there. Noah writes that AIPAC is going to try and stage a hostile takeover of Turning Point USA. I think that's already happened, actually, and I think it had been happening for a while. And I am looking to get some evidence of that for you guys, but I'm hearing some things. More is going to come out because we're not going to let this go. Raven writes, Brandon Briggs said on his last day's show to pray for Candace Owens, Alex Jones, and Tucker Carlson, bold voices that are exposing darkness. May Jesus Christ of Nazareth protect them all. Thank you so much. And do pray. Pray fast. These things work. And we are in a time of tremendous revelation. That is very clear. And which makes it that we are in dangerous times. You know, times of tremendous revelation are times when evil becomes more desperate. And I believe that Charlie's murder was because evil became very desperate. And what's really funny, and when I say funny, I'm talking dark humor funny, is as I was recounting this with my team earlier, I said, the problem with what they did is they planned it perfectly, right? And you should never have perfect behavior if a situation is organic. That's the problem, right? They planned it perfectly. So this phone call and walking away is actually not what a natural person would do. Knowing what direction to walk into, you'd be all over the place. You'd be freaking out, screaming, running towards the person. It looks like a military operation. Everything that we see looks like a military operation on that day. And that's the problem, right? That's why computers, they never account for the part where there is human behavior. Human behavior is lacking in this circumstance, and that's what makes us all uncomfortable. They want us to forget this. They want us to be ADHD about this. They want us to move on and start talking about the Mamdani race. And we have to be committed to not letting this go, because we are getting close every day. We're going to increase the pressure on them. If this happened to me, Charlie would be doing the exact same thing. I know he would be. This is a kind of evil that should scare everyone, because the implications are that if this was in fact a military assassination, then there is, forget talking about a deep state. We are talking about a kind of evil which would be so far reaching that even Charlie's own allies at his company and at the White House, some of them would have had to have been aware. That's obviously not all of them, but some of them would have had to have been aware for this to be executed. And we sense that. We sense that in the lack of information that is coming out, the lies that are being told, the covering up of the 12 Israeli cell phones. Because if it really was nothing, then it would be nothing. They would share that information. Instead, Kash Patel is frantic and he's angry and he's shouting at people, is what I'm hearing. So let's keep on it. Expose the Truth writes, the clip of that mayor debate looks like an SNL skit. Indeed, it does. As a conservative, leaning libertarian, I don't agree with socialism, but part of me is glad that Mamdani won because it sends a message. It was supposed to be MAGA, not MEGA. Exactly right. And when you see that skit, it reminds us of early Trump. Trump was on stage and they were just hammering everything that he said, and he was really funny and he stood by what he believed in. And we thought that he was going to disrupt the establishment, and now it looks like he's been swallowed whole by the same swamp that he went down there to clean up. Okay. Whatever this swamp monster is, it's got some claws, is what I would say. It's got some claws. And so I feel let down, obviously, by Trump, but it pales in comparison to how I feel about the entire Trump family, given everything that Charlie did to get them to where they are. Like their silence is just something else for me. Like I said, I'm not voting until this gets solved. Don't care if Dana Lash and every neocon wants to cry about it. My platform will be used to tell people that they should have no faith in the system. Zero faith in the system until this gets resolved. Anyways, you guys, if you'd like to support my work, as always,
how in the world?
Makehimsandwich.com.
How did we make it without? Hold on, y'all. Come on, man. Come on. How did I not get? We made the entire episode without her mentioning Kanye. Y'all, I'm just done. I'm about to rage quit my own show again. You got to be kidding me. We went the whole show and she did not one time say Kanye. Look, on behalf of Kanye, I'm mad. Okay? I'm mad on behalf of Kanye. I got to bring up the other camera. I'm just undone. How is it that we made it the entire show? Any other time she bringing up Kanye, she talking about Kanye and his dog. She talking about Kanye had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for lunch. How did we do without Kanye for a whole show? Candace, this is not right. Shout out to Amethyst Angel comes up in there. I wish our sponsors would drop her with the $2 super. I'm trying to figure out what are they thinking? What are her sponsors thinking? The devil and his imps won't point to Christ. Thank you so much for that, Amethyst. Thank you so much for the $2 super. And would the MT come back up in here and say, 4.3K likes on that today. She's 4.2 in that pic. Oh, okay. So basically that picture is not getting a lot of likes. That screenshot was not getting a lot of likes. I got you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate with the $2 super. What is Phantom coming back up in here with the $5 says, if he was on the phone for that long, he may have been on the phone with Erica. I don't understand. Like what is the big conspiracy about? What is she trying to allude to? That's what I think the Candies need to ask. Like, what are you trying to say? What is it that you want us to believe as it relates to this phone call thing? Shout out. Thank you so much for that, man. Amethyst came back around with $5. First responders are trained and not to be normal. The whole idea is to work beyond yourself. I agree. And I'm okay with people not behave. I don't know what I would do. And I'm not going to even pretend like I know what I'm going to do, because that's crazy work. I'm not going to do that. Why did she do that? This is wild. Avengers Assembled up in here says this: how can Candace expect any cooperation from TPUSA when she's always blasting them? Right. Like who's going to honestly give you call logs? Who's going to honestly give you information when, first of all, you have no stake or lot in it? You don't have any position. So why would I give you information for you to not, you don't need it. Why does Mike need to give you his call logs? Why? For what reason? Just so you cannot smear him? No, maybe he's going to sue you. He's going to turn around and sue your butt. That might be what ends up happening. Shout out for sure. Thank you very much for that. Y'all, I'm still undone. Y'all, I'm really floored by this. We went the entire bingo game, and this woman did not give me Kanye. I really truly think this is probably the first time she's not mentioned Kanye. I'm not going to go back and check. Based upon information and belief, I'm pretty sure this is the first episode that she is not mentioning Ye. You know what, though? Because I told y'all I'm going to win this game. I'm going to get blackout bingo. I'm going to give myself Kanye because I want to. If you needed blackout bingo, black that board out. She said power. That's enough. She said power there. That was it. That was enough for me. Frank Turk already said Charlie Kirk told Mikey to call Erica first if anything happens to him. See, I just don't understand. Why is that abnormal? If you know that you are, but see, the thing is, I think the question is not being asked of Candace is, whom did Charlie think was going to shoot him? And why did he think that his Jewish donors were going to shoot him above the blue-haired septum ring that was standing right in front of him? Why is that person off the hook? Because she still hasn't called out any leftists. Everybody she calls out is on the right. Just seems odd to me. Anyway, y'all, I appreciate y'all rocking with us. At 8 o'clock, so basically an hour and 10 minutes, Erica is supposed to be on Fox News with Jesse Waters, and that should be a good interview. So we will be checking that out unequivocally. I have a watch party scheduled for that. So we'll be jumping right in and watch that and see what happens. So we can watch it in 4K. And so matter of fact, let me make sure the link is ready. Yeah, the link is ready. So y'all can jump in, and I might kick it off a little bit early. I got to go and make sure my child is eating. But I might kick it off a little earlier so we can just kind of maybe, chit chat and talk up before it gets on. But I'll make sure that we're there, ready to go. And let me see real quick. Yeah, it is ready to go. So here's the link just in case y'all didn't see it. Yeah, a little over an hour from now. So I'm going to just go make sure. Chief Executive Second Boy, I hear her cooking, so something's going on. So I'm going to make sure everything's square. And then I will see you all in about an hour. Jump on over there and say what's up, all that kind of good jazz. I'll see you all real soon. Everybody, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the very kind supers and all of the moderators. Thank you so much for keeping this thing moving in the right direction. I appreciate everybody who's commented, everybody who stopped through, all the candies. Y'all are welcome over here. So y'all come on over here to the front of the church. We even save y'all a seat in the front of the church. So thank y'all so much for supporting. Thank y'all so much for helping make this tolerable, because my goodness, in the morning, it's hard to watch this thing. And I would not be able to watch it without y'all. So thanks so much. I appreciate you. Everybody have a great evening. I'll see you all in about an hour. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.